Okay, this video is to review assignment 1, the lesson 5 homework, where you're graphing lines from equations and writing equations of lines. So I'm going to go into the first part of the assignment where we're graphing lines. One of the things that you have to remember, which is going to be important during this whole unit, is don't forget that y equals mx plus b. And when we're doing y equals mx plus b, you have to remember that m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. So if I'm looking at the first equation here, it says graph the line with y equals negative 2/3 x minus 5. The first thing I'm going to do is start at the y-intercept. So in this case, my y-intercept is negative 5. So that's on the y-axis. That's the first thing I need to do. And then the second thing I need to do is use the slope, which is negative 2/3, which means down 2 and right 3. So we're going to put our first point at negative 5 on the y-axis. I need to move down to negative 5. First point. I'm going to move down 2 from here. 1, 2. And then right 3. 1, 2, 3. And there's my second point. So I started at negative 5. I went down 2 and right 3. And I graphed my line. Hit submit answer. Yes. And that is correct. Okay. So we'll do one more of these. Same thing, we're still using y equals mx plus b, which we're going to do for every equation. So if I look at the first part, I have y equals mx plus b. Sorry, my stylus is not perfect. So my slope in this case is in front of the x, and out in front of that x, which we can't see, is the number 1. So my slope is 1/1, which means up 1, right 1. And my y-intercept, which is b, is positive 3. So I'm going to start at the 3, put my first point at the y-intercept, and then follow my direction of up 1, right 1, and graph my second point. And I could keep doing that if I was doing this on paper, but I only had to do 2 points, and I will submit that answer. Okay, so I was able to do that also with y equals mx plus b. We'll do one more. So same thing, I'm going to use my y equals mx plus b. In this case, my slope, is negative 6/5. So that's down 6, right 5. My y-intercept b in this case is 1. So I'm going to start at 1 on the y-axis and then move down 6 and right 5. So I'll put my first point at 1, move down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my second point. Oops. Okay, and I can double check that. If I use my pen, you'll notice I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down 6, and right 5. So my points should be lined up. I'm going to submit answer. Yes. And I was able to graph the line. So that's graphing the lines using mx plus b. So now I'm going to go back to the writing equations of lines. So now we're just going to do the exact opposite of what we did. We're still going to use y equals mx plus b, but now I have to actually write the equation. So in order to write the equation, I have to find the m, and I need to find the b. So if I look at the equation, the first thing I'll notice is that it crosses the y-intercept right there. Okay, so that is my y-intercept, which is -6, right? And then if I look at my slope, if I go from one point to the other point, they actually have points labeled on here. And I can use any set of points that I want. I don't have to use the ones that were there. I can go up to these points. And you're going to notice here I'm going to go up 2 and right 3. So in this case, my slope is going to be up 2, right 3. So if I want to write my line, I'm going to fill in mx plus b, y equals m, 2 over 3, x. In this case, my slope is -6. So I can write -6. Now I'm going to go down to type in my equation. Y equals 2/3 x. Oh, I put it underneath. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to erase it and hit the right arrow. So x is next to it, -6, and submit my answer. And that was the equation of that line. So let's do one more. We're still going to use y equals mx plus b. And now I'm going to look at where does it cross the y-axis. So right there, it crosses there at b equals -1. Okay. And now I can look at my slope. And like I said, you can use any point that you want. You may want to use these two, or you can move up here. You're going to notice you go up 1, right 4. So my slope in this case is up 1, right 4. So now I'm going to fill in this y equals mx plus b up here. Y equals 1/4 x minus 1, because my b is -1 in this case. So now I'll go down to type in my equation. Y equals 1/4. Now I know I have to hit the right arrow. X minus 1. Submit answer. Okay. So while I'm looking through them or going through them, I always want to start by looking from where my line crosses the y-axis, and then from that point drawing my triangle. Okay, if the line is going upward, it's a positive line. Let me hit give up here and see if I can get a negative line. I seem really good at getting positives. Here's a -1, so we'll do 1 negative. So now, instead of having a positive slope, I'm going to have a negative slope because my line is going downward. So, first thing I'll look at is my B. It crosses at 8. From there, I can draw my triangle, which in this case goes down 3. So, -3 and right 2. So my slope is going to be -3 over 2. I'm going to fill in y equals negative 3 over 2 x plus b, which is 8. So I can go down. I'm going to type in my equation. Y equals negative 3 over 2 x plus 8. Oops, plus 8. So that's my answer. Okay, so that was assignment 1, both writing equations of lines and graphing lines from equations. Hopefully this helped you. If you are having problems with that assignment, please let me know what else you need tutorials on. I can do any ones